Good morning, good morning, good morning. It is Tuesday, the 28th of January 2025. Welcome. And as always, well done for making it this far. We've got Liebchen in the chat. We've also got Captain. We've got Martin. We've got Billy is in the chat as well. We've got C Dizzy Dizzle. Great name. And Michael Warner and others. And if you'd like to join them in the chat, all you need to do is just hit that subscribe button, subscribe link, and wait for about a minute, and then you can add things to what it says on the screen here. Hey, how about that, eh? Don't be a troll though, because we'll mute you, and then you'll be able to watch the show. You won't be able to say anything, and it'll be really frustrating. Yeah, you'll be like a eunuch in an orgy. Anyway, so we're talking about Trump today, and my philosophy on this is this, right? If Trump is going to take the credit for the stock market doing well when it's absolutely nothing to do with him, I think he has to take the blame when the stock market takes a dive, which it did yesterday. Nasdaq fell 3.1%. The S&P dropped 1.5%. Nvidia, the leading AI chip maker, lost nearly $600 billion, with a B, $billion in market value, setting a record for the largest one-day market loss in history. And Meta, Google, Alphabet, and other AI-heavy stocks also plummeted. And energy companies linked to AI also jumped off a cliff. Why? Well, because this is hilarious. America wanting to be the leader in AI and not liking competition. If you know your history, as us Evertonians like to sing, but if you go and have a look at what the United Fruit Company got up to in Central America in the 20th century, or what the oil barons got up to, causing a war between Bolivia and Paraguay over the chance there might be some oil there. Lots of people died. There was no oil. In the bit they were fighting over, it was just a bit of desert. No oil. That didn't stop the oil companies backing different sides of that conflict in the 1930s. Anyway, I digress. So America goes, right, we want to be the leader of AI. What do we need for AI? We need graphics cards. We need Nvidia, high-end chip graphics cards. That's what we need. It's a bit like cryptocurrency. We need to do loads of very, very complex sums very, very quickly. And to do that, we need these high-end chips, and we need a lot of energy, right? So if you type in a Google search, but you type it into ChatGPT, for instance, it will use something like 7 times more energy than if you had just typed it into Google. I mean, it's magnitudes of difference in the amount of energy usage between AI stuff, generative art, generative images, generative music, generative text, and what we've been used to over all these years. But what this Chinese startup has done, it's called DeepSeek, and what they've managed to do is they've made like a knockoff of ChatGPT. And I got to give you the equivalent of this. Okay, so imagine Hollywood spends $500 million on the new Avatar movie, right? And they're like, we spent all this money on this Avatar movie, right? It's going to be amazing, right? Meanwhile, someone makes their own version of an Avatar movie. And not only is it a better movie than the official one, not only does it look better, but they managed to make it for 50p. That's the equivalent of what's happened here. Essentially, America has been MacGyvered. America has locked the A-team in a room because one of the things they did is they stopped China from getting hold of these high-end chips, which is why the market cap of Nvidia went fucking crazy, way more than the actual nuts and bolts of the company were worth, because of this monopoly that America was trying to keep on developing AI. Last week, Donald Trump announced $500 billion, again with a B, of private funding towards AI. And yet this Chinese startup seems to have done it all for peanuts, like literally 5 million, 5 million compared with 500 billion with a B. Just to get this into context, like 500 billion, right, is 500,000 times more, okay, than 5 million. Okay, 500,000 times more, 500,000 times more money that they've said that they were going to invest in AI. So the Chinese were like, okay, well, we've got these shit chips, that we can use, and we're going to have to be like the A-team in our garage here, or Iron Man, Tony Stark in the first Iron Man. He's in a cave captured by the Taliban with some odds and ends, and he manages to make an Iron Man suit out of the shit. He makes like a fucking fusion reactor or something. I don't know how it wouldn't happen in real life, would it? So they've made this ChatGPT equivalent called DeepSeek, and they reckon they only spent $5.6 million making it. And everyone's a bit sus about this, as you would be, but at the same time, it's open source. Like, you can check this, you can check their maths, you can check their homework, you can check their working out. Show you working out. Okay, here you go. And this has meant that shares in AI industries, platforms that were heavily investing in AI, have just dropped off a cliff. The hardware people like Nvidia. I mean, you got to understand just how much 600 billion of the losses in a day. That is just mind blowing. And this is the Chinese have done this without access to top tier chips. So obviously that's gone off the edge. But also the energy thing, right? So this is interesting because the energy companies were like, oh shit, you're going to need loads more energy for this AI, aren't you? So, we might start up 3 Mile Island nuclear power plant again, and we might have to do this, and we're going to invest heavily in drill, baby. But now Trump's going to drill, but no one's going to buy the oil. All he's going to do, if he does that, is make oil prices around the world plummet, which OPEC are not going to be very pleased about. I guarantee they're not going to be very pleased about that. So, he thought he was going to sell it all to make energy to fuel the AI revolution. But someone has called this the Sputnik moment. The Sputnik moment when the Russians managed to get the first satellite into space while the Americans are still scratching their heads and doing test flights. Katrina, thank you very much for the £5 super chat. That is very kind of you. Hi, Graham. Got to visit my mum in hospital, so I'll have to watch this on catch up. Have a bit more money for being awesome. Oh, thank you, Katrina. That is really kind of you. And best of luck to your mum in hospital. I hope she's okay and makes a full recovery from whatever it is. But yeah, thank you. Captain Bart Roberts there. I'm going to give him welcome members because I haven't got. I don't think I've got enough buttons to have it every month. But Captain Bart Roberts has been a member for 14 months, and he is a superstar. 14 months, says Captain Bart Roberts. It is indeed. Did DeepSeek just ask ChatGPT how to do it? That would be brilliant. That would be so good if that's what happened in the end. But there you go. Fritcham Shook says, it just goes to show how obscenely overpriced, overpaid IT services professionals are in the West. I worked in IT for 30 years and saw pay and prices go through the roof. Yeah. He's so petty, but I suppose it's difficult to think straight with a full nappy. That's some captain. But yeah, this is all Trump's fault. It's not, but it is. Because he's in charge. He's the person in charge. And I often use the analogy of a captain of a ship. If you are the captain of a ship, and you're asleep, and your first mate drives the ship into a load of rocks and smashes it up, and there's a big oil spill, you are responsible, even though you were asleep. If you actually leave the ship to get off, to go into the town on a shore leave thing for the evening, and you come back and the ship is on fire, it's the captain's fault. The captain doesn't need to be there. The captain could be on the bridge, and the local pilot could come out to guide the ship into the dock, into the quayside, right? Yeah, bring it alongside. But if that pilot drives the boat, or tells the helmsman to go straight into a wreck that is on the partially submerged wreck, and everything blows up, it's the captain's fault. And I like that. I like the idea that the book stops there. So the captains get paid more than any of the rest of the staff, but also it's not just that they've got to be on the ball all the time. They've got to make sure that the people working for them are on the ball as well, because if any of them mess up, it's the captain's fault. So yeah, I think that's the way it should be in politics. I really do. I think that, you know, if there is a fuck up and there's a person in charge, the book stops here, as it used to say on Truman's desk, apparently. Tim Barham, thank you very much for the super chat. That's very kind of you. America is killing its own tech companies by not exporting chips. They will have to make their own now. Jai Chem Project comes to mind. I don't know what Jai Chem Project is. You could tell me more about it if you like, if you're so technically inclined. But yeah, America, by trying to control the uncontrollable, has just discovered to its chagrin that other countries exist. And other scientists, data scientists and nerds and people who go with computers, mathematicians, statisticians, data techs, they exist in other countries. And if you stop them having the chips that you kind of want them to use, they'll find chips from somewhere else and possibly make something better with what they've got. And this is phenomenal. This is the beginning of Trump's presidency, and it's an absolute disaster, which we all knew it would be. But we thought it was just going to be a disaster for, you know, minorities, trans people, asylum seekers, people from other countries, women, black people, Asians, Muslims, Jewish people, just anyone who's not Trump, basically. Poor, anyone who's not a billionaire. We thought it'd be a disaster for them, but this has turned out to be a disaster for the billionaires. Oh, and talking of disasters for billionaires, there is about $3 or $4 billion that was lent to the dickhead Elon Musk, the fascist Nazi Elon Musk, the guy, the South African apartheid Nazi racist, apartheid Nazi Elon Musk. So they mention he's a Nazi. Apparently, there's a few banks like Bank of America and stuff who lent him loads and loads of money to buy Twitter. Right. Just between you and me, apparently this week, and this, you know, this might just be a rumor. I don't know. It was reported in Voices though, so who knows? He says it's not true, but apparently they're selling the debt at 95 cents on the dollar. So they're selling the debt for less than they paid for it, which you only really do when you've got some bad stock that you want to get rid of. You know, you don't invest in something and go, hey, I hope in 5 years' time I get a return of less than I invested. Yes. I just like losing money. I just like burning money. I just like losing money for myself or my company or whatever. I don't think that happens too often. I don't know. Maybe it does. Maybe people like losing money and that's what the credit crunch was all about. I don't know. I'm not an economist. All I know is there shouldn't be a Nobel Prize for economics because it's a bullshit category that was never made up by Alfred Nobel. It's bollocks. You know, literature, yeah, I'll have that. Peace, cool. Mathematics, yeah. Physics, chemistry, yeah. Bring it on. Medicine, bring it on. Economics, are you kidding me? That's like a Mickey Mouse subject. That's a joke subject. That's like getting a Nobel Prize in DJing or being a landlord. It's not a proper job. Right, anyway, moving on. I'm setting some economists in the chat now. How dare you say being an economist is not a proper job? Well, because it's a bit like saying that I'm a professional gambler. I'm a professional horse race analysis person, and I know exactly what horse is going to win. Because they did a test years ago with a random machine basically predicting which stocks would go up and which ones would go down, and it got most of them exactly the same number right as people making the same bets. Economists. Which stocks do you think are going to go up and down, Mr. Nash? I don't fucking know. I'm only an economist. Right, anyway, moving on. Super chat from Darren Christian. Necessity is the mother of invention. Absolutely, my friend. This is why, unfortunately, so many amazing inventions come from war. I mean, because people have to make do with what they've got, and they have to try and emulate something that might have been better elsewhere and try and make it for themselves. Like in Australia, for instance, they tried to make Marmite during the war. They failed miserably and made Vegemite instead. But even worse is the mayonnaise. Like the mayonnaise in Australia, if you how can I put this delicately on a Tuesday morning? It looks like something it shouldn't, okay? That's the way I'm going to put it across. Okay. So basically, I think what happened in the 1910s, they couldn't get a particular ingredient. I don't know what it was. I mean, mayonnaise is what? It's eggs and shit, isn't it? They couldn't get a particular ingredient to make the mayonnaise the way it was in Britain. And so they bodged something together, which they call mayonnaise. And, oh my God, it's horrific. I mean, it doesn't taste too bad, but it looks like it's really wrong. It looks like something you don't want on a sandwich. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Right, Captain Bad Rabbits, thank you very much for the £5 super chat. But we're the American of the exceptional. Yeah. But did anyone see Marina Purkis on the Jeremy Vine show yesterday? I've seen the clip going around a few times where there's this Tory boy who's like, you want to destroy the special relationship. And she's like, no, I never said that. Don't put words in my mouth. I'm saying you can't trust Donald Trump because he's a liar. And then Jeremy Vine goes, well, you know, you say he's a liar, but you know, we need to take him seriously because he says what he's going to do. And she's like, okay, so about Greenland then? He's obviously not going to invade Greenland. He's just saying that. And Marina's like, so he's a liar then? It's a phenomenal. It's just a little 1 minute clip, but it just speaks volumes for the people who want to go to bat for Trump. Now, at the other end of the spectrum, you've got Femi, who has, he's a good mate of mine, and his line on what to do about Trump is very much, we should tell him to fuck off. Basically, I don't want to put words in Femi's mouth because it's not exactly what he said, but if he was in charge of the government, we would have a much more what they call robust attitude towards America and Trump at the moment. And in a way, he's right, because all you're doing is essentially saying that it's okay to be a rapist. It's okay to be a nonce. It's okay to sexually assault women, which it's not. Obviously, it's clearly not. It's okay to lie and cheat your way through life. It's okay to be a criminal. It's okay to mount an insurrection against your parliament building. Maybe we can do that then. Can we do that? Can we mount an insurrection against the Parliament building? Finish off what Guy Fawkes started? Can we do that with all the parliamentarians in the building at the time? Can we attack it? Can we attack it and then get let off by the president, get fully pardoned? Brilliant. Yeah, the president who we did that on behalf of, who he then said, oh no, they're nothing to do with me. And people are like, oh no, the justice system will save us. But I think that Marina said it best. She said, look, I'm not saying we shouldn't have a relationship with America. I'm not saying that we should sack them off entirely. And I don't think that Femi thinks that either. But Femi's very much, we should be fostering closer relations with the EU and moving away from America, because any deal that we get with the EU in terms of trade will be good for us. Right? This is the big thing. Yesterday, Rachel Reeves says in this BBC article, there is no easy path to economic growth. And I'm like, yes, the fuck it is. We join the EU. I mean, it's just the easiest path in the world. We've already been a member. It's just like, can we rejoin, please? And I go, yeah, all right. I know it's not that simple, but it is. I mean, compared with building HS2, it is bloody simple. Let's build a railway through like the heartlands of the NIMBYs. Let's see how it goes. David Faulkner's just dropped in a super chat for 38 Hong Kongian dollars. Thank you very much. US companies are about how much profit to benefit themselves. Here in China, it's about how the tech can benefit everyone. Happy New Year of the Snake. Yeah, Happy New Year, everyone. It's the year of the snake. Please tell me in the chat which year you were born. Which year you were born in the Chinese system of animals being years. So which animal are you? I know what I am. I'll tell you in a bit. Might be able to guess. It's a cool one. Never used to be a cool one, but now it's a cool one. Hey, no, things change. Anyway, so back to our attitude towards Trump. I think that we need to have somewhere in the middle of like being cautious towards Trump, but placating him, blowing smoke up his arse. But the idea of having a trade deal with these motherfuckers. Oh, No, don't want to pay twice as much for our medications. I don't want to be flooded with cheap agricultural imports that are not up to standard, especially come from a country that is shutting that. It's left the WHO, and it's a long way to going towards shutting down the CDC, the Centers for Disease Control, which means that bird flu is going to go crazy at some point. And I don't fancy having American bird flu infested chicken in a can coming over here anytime soon. Just rejoin the EU. Or rejoin a customs union, which is on the outer periphery of the EU, and set it up in a way that the Tories or refuck, if they do win the next election, they can't take us back out. Tim Ballum, thank you very much. The Jai-Chem project, massive push to get RISC-V to replace ARM, Intel, and AMD. Oh, okay, fair enough. It's all to do with the chips. Because the thing is, what China does have is a lot of the rare earth metals that you need to put in the chips. And also, China has invested heavily in countries in Africa over the last couple of decades because they know that that's where the raw materials are. Year of the Pig, says David. A wee new cat, a tuxedo called Smudge. It's a great name for a cat. I had a cat once called Boutros Ghali, after the former Egyptian Secretary General of the UN. Little Boo, his name was. Oh, so cute. He used to go outside and go, Boo, 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 Boutros Ghali. Oh, great days. I had a friend who had a dog called Dog, and then they got a cat, and they called the cat not Dog. I also had a friend who had a big, one of those big fluffy Persian cats, you know, the ones that look like the, and he was called Chairman Meow. Anyway, moving on. Year of the Kangaroo. It was a leap year. Hey! Excellent. I'll give you a super chat if they went both ways. I think on the year of the dog, it would explain a lot. Woof. The year of the pangolin. I'm an ape, says Frank Riley. Year of the tiger. Can you be born in the year of the portmanteau? I don't think so. Snake, goat, school. I think school was a long time ago, says Martin. I was born in the year of the weirdo, says Koala Meat. Richie Goth says, morning all, year of the rooster. Cock-a-doodle-doo. Neilor's embroidery journey says sheep struck goat. Dizzy Drizzle not only has a great name, but is also one of the great years to be born because it's the year of the dragon. Year of the dragon. So what was that? 1976? 88? 2000? Why is there no year of the badger, says Unquiet Badger? I don't know, mate. Maybe there are badgers in China. I don't know. My mum is born in the year of the ox. I didn't know there was a year of the ox. You learn something every day. Blue Badger 88 just says, I'm a dragon. I don't know if they're referring to the year they were born or the fact that they are actually a dragon. Anne says, I was born in January, so just missed it being a pig. Oh, I see. I'm a sheep goat. The way Trump won Greenland is about rare metals, says Donald. Yeah, probably. 66, year of the horse. See Dizzy Dizzle. 1988, I was born. Oh, look at that. Look at that. I was on that. Like a sleuth. No, I was the year of the goat, right? 1979, right? Year of the goat. And for years, I thought that was crap. You know, I wanted to be something cool, like a dragon or a snake or something. But I was bloody year of the bloody goat. But then, about 10 years ago, someone on the internet decided that goat stood for the greatest of all time. I'll take it. Thank you, internet, for making me feel better about the Chinese symbol that I was born under randomly. But there you go. I did nothing to make this thing happen. But I'm going to take the credit anyway, just like Donald Trump takes the credit for things that go well when he is in charge, but doesn't take the actual, the blame for anything that goes wrong. It's not his fault. It's not his fault. He's only been in the job for a week. Yeah, he's happy to take credit for peace in the Middle East. Or not, we've got peace in the Middle East, but the ceasefire in the Middle East. He's happy to take that. But there you go. So, I mean, the investors, going back to the original story at the top of the hour, or the half of the hour, we're nearly at the end of the show. Bloody, I'm giving serious thought to starting this show at 9 o'clock. I might start doing that next week, 9 o'clock till 10 o'clock. So you can listen to Women's Hour or whatever on Radio 4, whatever it's called, on the hour, Women's Hour, whatever, some hour thing on Radio 4. And then you've got an hour between that and, what's his name, James O'Brien, starting on LBC, where you don't really want to listen to Nick Ferrari, do you? 'Cause private school people they're tough enough to listen to for a few hours, but never mind if they're right wing as well, which a lot of them are. I am the walrus. Goo goo says Paul Ewan. I'm a Samalina Pilchard climbing up the Eiffel Tower. They repeat. Sheep goat does 60. I know. I know they repeat. That's right. I just asked Alexa. Apparently, I'm the year of the horse. Ooh. I tell you what's really cool about Alexa. I don't have one, but my parents do. I was around the house and we were listening to Classic FM, and I was going, "This is from Gladiator. This is from Shawshank Redemption. This is the incidental music from Witness." I mean, and I would say to Alexa, "What's this?" And it's the incidental music from Witness with House of Fun, 1985, directed by Peter Weir, I think. Who also directed Gallipoli and Picnic at Hanging Rock. Is that right? Am I getting that right? Peter Weir? He hasn't done it for ages, has he? Did he also do Truman Show? Oh, that was a great film, wasn't it? That was a bloody good. What's Peter Weir doing these days? Did he do Master and Commander? I can't remember. Someone needs to ask Alexa. Right, let's quickly have a look at the papers, because I want to know what the papers say about the papers thing. Unfortunately, on my screen where the papers come up, an advert has come up. So I'm going to have to get rid of the advert. There you go. And now I'm going to go to the papers, and then we will come back. We will come back here in a moment. First of all, we're going to go to the Times here. AI over dizzying alert. Sorry, alert. I'm obsessed with AI now. It's because I read AI from this above here. This. But anyway, alert over dizzying range of extremism. Home Office review urges sweeping changes. This is to do about this idea of two-tier policing being a racist dog whistle, which it is. And it facilitating extremism, which it does. And who has said the term two-tier policing in Parliament? Nigel Farage. So, you know. And then there's a Jewish Holocaust survivor there for the 80th anniversary of the liberation of Auschwitz, which was yesterday. And we say never again. You know, never again. Auschwitz survivors warn of a new age of hatred. We say never again. This is it's a cycle. It's happening. It is happening all over again. It is up to us to point it out as often as we can, because, you know, we can't really do anything militarily. We can't do anything much when it comes to our politics. But what we can do is point out when a Nazi's being a Nazi. So when Elon Musk does a Nazi salute because he's a Nazi, and then people try and defend the Nazis, do you know what they called people who defended the Nazis during World War II? Do you know what they called them? They called them Nazis. There was a special word for them. It was Nazis. It takes a Nazi to defend a Nazi. It takes a Nazi to make excuses for Nazis. Very important that people get that through their heads. US tech stocks in turmoil after Chinese firm unveils AI chatbot. Which is what we were talking about. Could I stop texting and pick up the phone, which is at the top there? No, you can't. You have to keep texting forever. The same guy is on the front cover of the Guardian here, saying never again. And then the Daily Mail, the Daily Heil, the Daily Mail that supports the Nazis, actually had a front cover that was eerily similar to Nazi-era propaganda, where it had pictures of High Court judges saying enemies of the people. This is the Mail, and now, actually, before that gateway of death, they gathered for the last time the handful of eyewitnesses to history's greatest abomination. Yeah, which the Daily Mail would love to see happen again. The Daily Heil. Look at the font they use for their masthead there. It is basically the Gutenberg Bible font, beloved of Nazis all over the world. That particular font. I don't know if a font can be Nazi, but, you know, I think brutalism is pretty Nazi. So, you know, if an architectural style can be Nazi, then I guess a font can be as well. As royals mark 80th anniversary of the Auschwitz liberation, Robert Hardman's haunting dispatch. And notice that on the Daily Mirror here, you have one of the last survivors of Auschwitz on the front cover. Meanwhile, on the Daily Mail, it's got King Sausage Fingers and a picture of Kate looking attractive. Like, it says a lot for the people who read this shit, but the fact that they don't have a picture of a Holocaust survivor on the front of the Mail, they have two people from the royal family because we have to worship them or something. It's a bit mind-blowing. Same picture there on the front of the Express. Is a moment when we recall the depths to which humanity can sink when evil is allowed to flourish, ignored for too long by the world. Yeah, I agree with King Sausage Fingers there. He's absolutely right. He is absolutely right. Ignored for too long by the world. That's what lots of people are doing. They're burying their heads in the sand. They're saying it's too much. I can't even deal with it. We don't want to talk about it because it is upsetting. And I get that for people. Your mental health has to come first. You have to help yourself. It's like being in a plane crash. You have to help yourself before you can help somebody else. Because you're trying to put the oxygen mask on somebody else, you won't get enough oxygen. All right? So you need to put that on yourself and then look after yourself first. But if you are okay to do this, then you need to fight. And the way that we fight is by not allowing this to happen, where he says, ignored for too long by the world. Do not ignore it. Point it out at every opportunity. And if you meet someone who is defending a Nazi, call them a Nazi. Call them out on it. And explain to them that someone who defends a Nazi is a Nazi. So therefore, they are a Nazi. And then explain that your grandfather launched torpedoes at Nazis. He didn't befriend them or buy them a drink. The Daily Telegraph there. Non-crime hate laws set to be expanded. This is bullshit again from the Daily Express. The Daily Telegraph. The way that they've got that, the non-crime claims of two-tier policing would be seen as extremist under guidance in leaked report. Yeah, non-crime. As though, this is just a made-up thing. It's not really a crime. It's not really an issue. It's not really an issue, Anyway, so I'll move on. Trump pledges Iron Dome to shield US from hypersonic missiles. Jesus, he's not all there, is he? We must avoid the mistake of the 1930s. Holocaust survivors warn against the far right in Europe once again. Well, the far right have taken over America. The Nazis have won World War II because they've taken over America, which is something that they wanted. Well, I don't think they imagined that it would ever get that far, but they have. And then Chinese AI leap triggers tech tumble by sowing doubts over chip spending is on the front cover of the Financial Times. And the Star has got the war of the psycho scumbag chatbots. Okay. And then the Metro's got, in a place of no hope, there is always hope. Survivors proved they were able to live full lives after witnessing the horrors of the Holocaust. Never again. Never again. It's up to us. It's up to all of us to fight back against this shit, because otherwise it will happen again. It will absolutely happen again. Who did the Nazis go after first? Transgender people. Transgender people. Who else did they go after? They went after Jews, and they wanted to deport them. They didn't start with the gas chambers. They started with deporting Jewish people somewhere. Where were they going to go? There was no Jewish homeland at the time. So no other countries wanted them. Britain said no. Britain said no on many occasions. In fact, the Kinder Transport, which we all, Nicholas Winton, we all celebrate the fact that this guy got over 1,000 children out of Austria, got them out to Germany, into the UK to be brought up by foster families. Yeah, but their parents fucking died. Like, all of them. Their parents were killed, were murdered by the Nazis because we would only allow the children. So you can look at it as a good news story that we rescued loads of children. But yeah, the bad news is we let the adults die. And Nicholas Winton had to do all kinds of tricks to get those kids over, because we didn't even want to take the kids. We regard ourselves in the UK as like the moral arbiters of fucking everything because we invented fucking cricket. But the reality is we've been really shit in the past. We've been really, really shit. And instead of, making our brains go doolally in this reverie of the past of when we had this great empire and we won 2 world wars and 1 World Cup and all this bullshit. If you're going to take the good stuff, you've also got to acknowledge the bad stuff. And we did a lot of bad stuff, ladies and gentlemen. We did a lot of bad stuff. We just fucking did. We just fucking did. But yeah, keep on keeping on. Paul J says, howdy from the States of Embarrassment. I'm very sorry, Paul J. It's just, yeah. Yes. Tripod says, ask the king who's his great uncle was mates with. Ask him if it was a Roman salute his mother was doing. Well, his mum at the time was like, 8 or something. So I can't really blame her for that. I can blame her for other stuff, but I can't really blame her for that. And yes, his great uncle, Edward VIII, was a Nazi. That's why they got rid of him as the king. They were like, we can't have a king as a fucking Nazi. So they got rid of him. It's something that they can't do in America now for Trump until, I don't know. He carks it. I keep saying this, but he's going to die in office. He will die in office, and I will collect my winnings. Not that I've had to put an actual bet on it, but I probably should. What are the odds of him dying in office? Captain says, a former SS man is buried in Arlington Captain Larry Thorne, who was once Laurie Tawney, fought on the Russian front. That's a bit mad. I wonder why someone thought it was okay to wear Chanel to a Holocaust memorial. Seems a bit insensitive. Good point, Star. You're forgetting the number of disabled children killed shortly after birth, says Paula. Yeah, that as well. I mean, but the Holocaust against the Jews began with deportations, which is exactly what's happening in America right now. And then countries wouldn't take the Jews, so they got put in internment camps. And that's how they started. It wasn't a death camp to start with. It was an internment camp. But then they built death camps, extermination camps, like Auschwitz, to take millions of people to execute them. Women, children, old men, executed by the state for being undesirables. And then when you hear Trump using words like he wants to clean Gaza, clean it, that's the word he used. He wants to cleanse Gaza of those pesky Palestinians who have lived there for thousands of years. He wants to, that's the term he used because he is a Nazi. Elon Musk is a Nazi. Zuckerberg, I mean, he's chumming up to Nazis. Oh my God. The fear in his eyes in that video, you know, where he says, oh, we've got to get back to our roots and all this bullshit. He looked like a fucking rabbit in headlights. Because Trump had said to him, I'm going to put you in jail and make it look like an accident. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that to you because I'm president now. And he went, shit. I'm going to have to make Facebook a right-wing toxic shit pile like what X is now, what Twitter is. Started the disabled children program with 1935. Yeah. Also you had, socialists, gay people. You also had gypsies, Romany people who were also massacred on an industrial scale by the Nazis because they were seen as undesirable people they didn't want in their country because they weren't true Germans. Just like they'll say that these undocumented migrants in America are not true Americans, which is ironic as all Americans are immigrants or children of immigrants or grandchildren of immigrants, apart from the Native Americans, and they're having a pop at the Native Americans as well, saying that they that we want to deport these Native Americans. This is who's in charge in America right now, and we need to call it out. It's all we can do at the moment, really. So let's fucking do it. And also, there's something else we need to do. And I know that it's been quite a heavy week, and also with the 80th anniversary of the liberation of Auschwitz and Holocaust Memorial Day yesterday, there's a lot of heavy shit going down. But I think this is really, really important. We need to always remember each day to make fun of Trump, make fun of Elon Musk, make fun of all the people that support them, belittle them, laugh at them. Don't engage them, by the way. Don't have that conversation online with someone that you don't know. Don't bother. It is not a good use of your time. There's a good chance they might be a Russian bot anyway. Just block them, report them, block them. That's it. Don't respond. Just go block, report, or report, block. Get rid of them. Get rid of them. And they because all the right wing wants is attention. I mean, I'm the one with diagnosed attention deficit disorder, but I think that a lot of these people are like, look at me, like a little kid. When they go through that phase when they're about 5 years old, where they'll get on a swing and like, look at me, and they go down a slide and look at me, and then there's a lot of cases of arrested development in people who are still in that phase of look at me, and they'll go on to liberal TikTok, liberal YouTube, liberal Facebook pages, and they will try and start a fight. Don't engage. Just get rid of them. Just report them, block them, laugh at them. Because that laughter just destroys their power. It is the most effective way of taking down fucking ridiculous dickheads like Mussolini or Trump or Joe Rogan or whoever. Horrible, bald old men are creating problems in the world right now. Veg Pie, thank you very much for the super chat. Saturday night, I got home from a cruise and promptly fell over and broke my wrist. Oh, shit. Shit, I'm sorry to hear that, Veg Pie. That's not very good. Today's my birthday. Well, that's better. Thanks for keeping me sane, Graham. Oh, well, thank you for the $5. You shouldn't give me money for your birthday, but thank you very much, Veg Pie. That is very, very kind of you. I hope to see you at the Labour Party conference again this year. I'm going to wrap up in a minute. But Trump is taking his texter to the Mercus. Is texter? What's a texter? I don't know what texter is. Sorry, Sandra. To the Mercator visible. Sorry, I don't really understand what that means. Good to hear your perspective. What a way to celebrate a birthday. Hope you can manage to wield the cake slicer at least. That's Phillips talking to Veg Pie. And so you hear that, you bloody break your wrist. That's just not fun, is it? I blame Donald Trump. That's who I blame. And Nigel Farage, who I haven't mentioned much this morning, but who is actually a Nazi. So we need to call him a Nazi at every opportunity. And Richard Tice. And all the Tories that support Donald Trump, vocally. They're the ones who are like, yeah, I love this guy. Takes a Nazi to support a Nazi. Don't forget that. So yeah, this is going to be interesting over the next week or so. I mean, the markets might stabilize today. I don't know. I don't know enough about it, to be honest with you. But I do find it very satisfying that the first full week of Donald Trump's presidency ends with him with his beloved stocks, with his beloved stock exchange crashing through the floor. Because, overpriced stocks. Please don't invest in Tesla. Please don't invest in Meta. Please don't invest in Nvidia or cryptocurrency. It's all a mad gamble. It's all a bloody pyramid scheme that allows rich people to get even richer and the rest of us to lose our life savings. Please don't fall for it. And I'm sure I'm going to get someone in the chat and someone in the comments in the moment going, I love crypto. Crypto is my life. But yeah, great. Okay, cool. You did well out of it. I did well out the horses once, I went to one horse race and I put a bet on 20 to 1, won €200. Brilliant. It was fantastic, right? And so 100% record. I'm never doing it again because chances are the next 19 times I try that trick, I'm going to lose my money. So, I'm not going to tell anyone else to do it either because it's not going to benefit me in any way, shape or form, and it won't benefit them either, possibly, because it's just gambling, which is what crypto and stocks and shares is all about. It's all freaking gambling. Don't try and dress it up as some fancy Nobel Prize winning enterprise. It's not. It is just gambling. And, these banks and the financial houses and stuff, they gamble with someone else's money, which is quite, wrong on many levels. Right. I love crypto. He's a good dog. All dogs are good dogs, except those bad dogs. They can fuck off. Right. I will see you later. We're going to be doing an episode of Geoscope tonight with Ollie Bowler Hatman at 7:30. And then we're going to segue seamlessly, I hope, as seamlessly as possible, into Maximilian's show, which will be at 8:30 tonight. So please tune in for those if you're not doing anything else. And until next time, I'll say thank you so much for watching. Thanks for the chats. Thanks for watching. Thanks for the super chats. Give us a like or a dislike on the way out. It's all feeding the algorithm. And until next time, I'll say hello, good evening, welcome, and goodbye.